President encountered her first protesters. We will show you how Kamala Harris handled that. But in the audio coverage of the event, you won't be able to actually hear what the protesters were actually saying. You will hear the rest of the crowd trying to drown out what the protesters were saying with the chant of Kamala, Kamala. NBC's Nnamdi Egbuonu reports that the protesters were shouting, Kamala, you can't hide, you're supporting genocide. And this is how the vice president responded.
Because we believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but I am speaking now. I am speaking now. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
The strength of that stare is more powerful than anything I've ever seen a candidate do in a moment like that. No presidential candidate has ever handled a moment like that better than Kamala Harris. Donald Trump doesn't have moments like that because no one who disagrees with him is allowed at his occasional campaign rallies. And so he will never be shouted at by those protesters. The vice president was welcomed to Detroit today by our first guest tonight, the Michigan Democratic Party chair, Lavora Barnes.
Our ticket is a winner, and it couldn't be more different than those Republicans. The Republican ticket consists of a convicted felon and his weirdo running mate.
The vice president began her remarks tonight in Detroit with gratitude to the man who chose her as vice president and was the first to endorse her 2.5 weeks ago for President of the United States.
Today, I also bring greetings from our incredible President Joe Biden. That's right. Joe. Deeply, deeply grateful to Joe for his lifetime of service to our nation, and we thank you, Joe Biden, each and every day for all you are and all you still have yet to do. Thank you, Joe. 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 That's right. I'm going to tell him what you said.
Other chants broke out today. The chant, lock him out, broke out during the vice president's speech in Wisconsin and again tonight in Michigan. Chanting lock him up about someone who has been convicted of 34 felonies and is facing a sentencing hearing next month is very different from the Trump chant of lock her up about someone who has never been charged with a crime. And the vice president's response to that chant is very, very different from Donald Trump's.
As Attorney General of California, I took on one of the country's largest for-profit colleges that scammed students. Well, Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students. You remember that? As a prosecutor, I specialize in cases of sexual abuse. Well, Donald Trump was found liable for committing sexual abuse. As Attorney General, I held the big Wall Street banks accountable for fraud. Well, Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud. 34 counts, to be exact. Hold on. You know what? Here, hold on. Here's the thing. The courts are going to handle that. We're going to beat them in November. We'll beat them in November. We'll handle that.
Donald Trump lies to his sadly gullible audiences that every economic problem can be solved with drill, baby, drill, even though the United States of America is already the largest energy producer in the world. Here's what the vice president said tonight in Michigan about inflation.
We believe in a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families, so they have a chance not just to get by, but to get ahead. Because look, while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. When I was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And when I am president, it will be my day one priority to fight to bring down prices, to take on the big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging, take on corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families, to take on big pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans. That is the work we will do together. And all of this to say, unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first. Because Coach Walls and I know the middle class built this great country of ours, and when the middle class is strong, America is strong.
Tonight, the vice president told Michigan voters and the country and the world why Donald Trump should never again be president of the United States.
Last month, the United States Supreme Court basically just told the former president, who has been convicted of fraud, that going forward, he will be immune no matter what he does in the White House. Think about what that means. Think about what that means. The man has openly vowed, if reelected, that he will be a dictator on day one. Think about what that means when he said that he will even, quote, terminate the Constitution of the United States. Because let us be very clear. Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. Never again.
Never again. The vice president told her Wisconsin supporters this afternoon and her Michigan supporters tonight what she needs from them to win those important states.
So in the next 90 days, we need you to use your power. We need you to knock on some doors. We need you to register folks to vote. We need you to organize and energize and mobilize and make your voices heard. So Michigan, I ask you, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it?
Leading off our discussion tonight is Michigan Democratic Party Chair Lavora Barnes. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I know this is a big night for you and the party in Michigan. What was it like for you personally to be welcoming this new presidential candidate to Michigan?
I have to tell you, me and 15,000 of my dearest friends in Michigan had a glorious time welcoming our ticket into Michigan. It was electric, a room full of fired up, excited folks. It wasn't a room, it was a hangar, an airplane hangar, and it was full of people who were fired up. I hope each of them signed up for a volunteer shift to just what the vice president asked us to do, knock those doors, make those phone calls, and talk to those voters. I'm excited. I'm almost out of voice, but I'm excited.
You've got 90 days to close this successfully in Michigan. What does the party need to do in order to win Michigan this year?
So here in Michigan, we've built a strong infrastructure. We've been sort of working our way toward this goal for a very long time. So we've got 50 plus offices open around the state. We've got hundreds of folks on staff. We've got thousands of volunteers signed up who have already started doing the work. We're on the phones. We're on the doors. We're text messages. We're doing relational vote. We're doing everything that can be done to make sure that the voters know the importance of this election and the difference between our ticket of Harris and Walz and that other ticket of the weirdos.
You've been campaigning with Kamala Harris before. 4 years ago, of course, in Michigan. Earlier this year in Michigan, when she was the vice presidential candidate running for re-election. Is there something different in the candidate who showed up there tonight?
I have to say that this is a candidate, I think, who is in her full voice. I think that we are getting all Kamala now, and it's a beautiful thing. You talked about the way she handled the protesters. You talked about the way she responded to the lock him up words. She is very strong, very powerful. She's talking about the issues that are important to her. She's talking about her positions, and she's doing it with power and strength and vitality and energy, and it's terrific to see.
And on the point of the protesters, the first thing she did was to tell her supporters that it's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about, don't bother trying to even drown them out, because the vice president said they have a right to be heard. They should be heard. It's just that it wasn't going to be during her speech.
That's absolutely right. That's the approach we should all be taking. This is a democracy, and we're the Democratic Party, and folks have a right to have their voices heard. Absolutely. We do that here in the Michigan Democratic Party, give folks space to speak their piece. But then when it's someone else's turn to speak, we expect you to be respectful and allow them to speak. And this was her turn.
Lavora Barnes, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Save your voice. You've got 90 more days. You need it every day. Thank you very much for joining us on this important night for the Michigan Democratic Party.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for talking about Michigan.
Thank you. And coming up, United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain, who spoke at the Kamala Harris rally tonight, will join us next.
Meanwhile, on the other side, we know who we're dealing with. Donald Trump is a scam.